Okay, this is a guide to how to give your informative speech. So, information is useless until someone puts it together in a clear and relevant form. The speech itself is worth 150 points, and the outline is an additional 20 points. The layout for the informative speech is similar to that of the tribute speech, and that it has an introduction and a body and a conclusion, right? This speech, the informative speech, is based on evidence. So that's a major difference. And it's not something you want to just put together the day that you're giving the speech. You want to prepare and practice the speech. Your full sentence outline should be neatly typed. Please use transitions in parentheses to separate main points. So transition is now I talked about this, I'd like to move on to that. Now that I've discussed the harms caused by acid rain, I'd like to explain some of the technological solutions to acid rain, right? That's a transition. I just talked about X, now I'd like to move on to Y. All right, with your outline, include a bibliography page, an APA or MLA. APA stands for the American Psychological Association, or you could use the MLA format, which is the Modern Language Association. That's the one I like. Um, and that would include all the sources that you use in the speech, and that should be no less than 4 sources. And so you don't want to include any sources in your references or bibliography that you don't directly use in the speech. Teachers like to hear good evidence, and they like it when you draw on sources that you've gone out and found and you've spent a little time on them. Your speech should contain 3 to 5 main points, right? 3 to 5 main points, and that would be the body of the speech, right? And each one of those main points should have a claim argument, right? A main sentence, like the beginning of topic sentence in a paragraph, followed by data, followed by your analysis. Get in the claim data analysis mode when you're dealing with main points. And so a main point could have one claim statement and then multiple pieces of data and analysis. So, all right, speak about a topic that can be handled in 5 to 7 minutes. Falling short or going over time will cost you points. So don't talk for 3 minutes, but don't talk for 12 minutes either. Stick with about 6 minutes here. You must cite at least 4 sources in your speech. The credentials of those sources should be developed immediately prior or after the information you have taken from the source. For example, you could say something like, according to the June 2009 issue of the New England Journal of Medicine, Dr. Smith of Harvard states that there are. That's a source credential, and that's a good one, right? So you're always asking yourself, where did the information come from? By whom? Was there a kind of bias, right? So these journal articles are really good because they tend to be peer reviewed, which means that it's a sort of unbiased approach to research, right? Factual, not positioned this way or that. Uh, in an article I read, right? That's not good enough. Or something I found on the internet, that's not a good enough source citation. So make sure to use credible, unbiased sources. All right, to receive an A, you must, 1, demonstrate imagination and creativity in topic selection and development. You're creative if you can take this topic and develop it in such a way that the audience is highly motivated to learn and are fully engaged in learning throughout the speech. And here's the thing, I mean, if you are interested in the subject, you're going to be imaginative and creative because you're going to be curious and you're going to try to learn yourself what's going on about this subject matter. You're going to inform yourself. And as you internalize that information, you will become a sort of repository of the information that you can share with your peers. All right, 2, Demonstrate excellent audience analysis and adaptation. Motivate us to learn by making the topic important to each of us. Build on what we already know. Develop explanations that make sense to this specific audience. And so, you're dealing with an audience of pretty bright college kids, right? It's not that you have to be like the super expert on everything, but you've got to do enough legwork. You've got to do enough research and work hard enough. You've got to practice the speech enough that you can kind of s- speak to us in a way that's interesting, engaging, and it captivates us. All right, three, reveal to us an impressive way of teaching this material. This means that you must teach this material more effectively than many of your teachers. Well, we have good teachers and we have bad teachers, and emulate the very best. And if you think there's an issue with some of your teachers, rather than be kind of critical about it, just perform the corrective. Be the best teacher. Four, employ language and stylistic devices that enhance the message. Language use should motivate and should help us comprehend. Language in an informative speech should be tied to data. Remember that claim data analysis. Claim data analysis. Your main point should follow a claim data analysis format. Five, delivery must be solid and convincing. You should use note cards. You should not memorize, nor should you read the speech. People get into trouble in this speech because they don't practice it enough. They don't know their data. They've just thrown it together. And so they kind of are ham-handedly reading, and it doesn't come across as fluent or eloquent. And really, that's a shame, because what you want to do is internalize the material to such a degree that you can liberate yourself. You free yourself away from your notes and you just talk to the audience because you're the expert on this subject. All right, six, follow to the letter the proper format for the introduction, body, including transitions between main points, and conclusion. Structure is very important in this speech, and you want to follow very closely the sample outline provided.